I'm sure that by now you've already heard about the trade war between the United States and Canada. I'm sure you've heard that Canada is standing firm and they're going to hit us with tariffs. I'm also sure that your budget has tightened over the last 2 years and you don't want those costs to go up anymore. But most importantly, I'm sure that in the middle of this trade war, the United States will come out on top. I'm going to give you some reasons why in this video. Welcome to the Mr. Wilson's Got a Headache podcast. I'm your host, Dennis Dominic. Like this video, subscribe to the channel, and let me know your thoughts in the comment section. Check this out.
Until these tariffs are off the table, until the threat of tariffs is gone for good, Ontario will not relent.
And it was a retaliatory statement due to the escalation of rhetoric that we've seen out of Ontario, Canada. The president saw the premier, Doug Ford, make an egregious and insulting comment threatening to shut down electricity for the American people, for hardworking American families. He made that threat. The president saw that and has an obligation and a responsibility to respond. And the president put out a statement after seeing those comments and said that it would be there would be grave consequences imposed on Canada if they think about shutting off electricity for the United States of America.
That was a clip of one of Canada's premiers over Ontario saying that he was going to be tough on the United States and he was going to respond with his own tariffs, and possibly he was going to respond by turning off electricity to several states in the United States of America. Now, first glance, it seems like Canada has a lot of bargaining chips against the United States. But the truth is, Canada's economy is much more vulnerable. Currently, exports to the United States from Canada make up around 25% of the total Canadian economy, while at the same time, exports from the United States to Canada only make up around 2.5% of the United States economy. Looking at those numbers, it's not really hard to see who has the upper hand. The Canadian economy is worth $2.1 trillion, and the United States economy was worth $29 trillion. After the premier of Ontario came out with this message, projecting strength, a few hours later, he had this to say.
I've agreed to suspend temporarily, and we always have that tool in our toolkit, until we sit down over the next day or two. I'll be heading down to Washington along with Dominic LeBlanc, and we'll have a good discussion. There's a point that both parties are heated and the temperature needs to come down. And I thought this was the right decision. They understand how serious we are about the electricity and the tariffs. And rather than going back and forth and having threats to each other, we have both agreed, let cooler heads prevail. We need to sit down and move this forward. But if he continues with the aluminum and the steel, I just got off the phone with Minister LeBlanc, they will respond dollar for dollar, tariff for tariff.
As you know, there's a very strong man in Canada who said he was going to charge a surcharge or a tariff on electricity coming into our country. He has called and he said he's not going to do that. Okay, he's not going to do that. And it would have been a very bad thing if he did, and he's not going to do that, so I respect that.
Some of you are going to go watch MSNBC and CNN, and those news outlets are going to tell you the reason why Donald Trump threatened to increase those tariffs to 50% and then pulled back is because he's weak, and Canada was so strong that it forced him to do that. I think it's extremely important for American citizens to understand who we are to the rest of the world. You don't have to be an expert in negotiating or politics to understand what's going on here. This is a game of chicken.
Welcome to the world's biggest game of chicken, boys. Shit!
Canada has an obligation to its people to project strength in every situation. Ultimately, if Donald Trump gets his way, this deal will bring tens of billions of dollars back to the United States. It may even bring whole industries back to the United States. In several of my videos, I've talked about how you have to be very careful when you listen to politicians talk. Someone over commerce in the Canadian government just made a statement that proved that Canada is following the lead of the United States. Check this out.
Today, I am announcing that the Government of Canada, following a dollar-for-dollar approach, will be imposing, as of 12:01 a.m. tomorrow, March 13th, 2025, 25% reciprocal tariffs on an additional $29.8 billion of imports from the United States. This includes steel products worth $12.6 billion and aluminum products worth $3 billion, as well as additional imported U.S. goods worth $14.2 billion for a total of $29.8 billion.
This is much more than about our economy. It is about the future of our country. Canadian sovereignty and identity are non-negotiable. Canadians have had enough, and we are a strong country who will defend our sovereignty, will defend our jobs, and will defend our way of living. And we will do so all together, every single day, and one day at a time.
Did you hear what he said? Are you paying attention? This person just said that they are going to do a dollar-for-dollar reciprocal tariff against the United States. Most people hear that and say, oh man, it sounds like bad news. But the truth is, what he just admitted is that he is following the lead of the United States. Let's say that Donald Trump comes out after that statement and says, we're going to do a 0% tariff against Canada. If this man keeps his word about the reciprocal tariff, then that means that Canada would then do a 0% tariff against the United States. Now, he had to say it that way because, like I said earlier, every government wants to project strength to the world and especially its own people. Nobody in the Canadian government believes that they can win a trade war against the United States. And everybody there who can count knows that the relationship between the United States and Canada has been unfair, and Canadians have been winning for decades as a result of our trade policies. It is my guess that within the next 30 to 60 days, all of this will be behind us. And then you'll see these members of government shaking hands and everybody smiling and acting like none of this happened. Have I lost my mind? Let me know in the comment section. I promise to keep my responses respectful, and I expect everybody in the comments to be respectful as well. Is this going to be over in the next 2 or 3 months? Or will we see the relationship between the United States and Canada destroyed forever? I want to know what you think. What you think matters. The comment section is open. Do me a favor if you're still here. Like the video. It only takes a second, but it's greatly appreciated. Subscribe to the channel because I'm going to keep you updated on this story as well as other stories. And go to my channel and check out some of my other content. Like, share, comment, and subscribe. And as always, I'll see you on the next video.